This is a recap for Tuesday, October 27th. Today we worked on page 3 of CAMI week 6. So I'll do the problems that we did. We did 4.2 minus negative 2.7, which is the same as 4.2 plus 2.7. So we can line those up with the decimal point, and that becomes 6.9. Hopefully we're becoming more familiar with or comfortable with subtracting a negative being the same as adding. Negative 1.3 plus a negative 5.4. So we're going to combine 1.3 and 5.4, 6.7, and it's negative. So negative 6.7. 4.8 plus the opposite of negative 10.5, which is 10.5. Which is 15.3. And negative 0.2 plus 0.4. We're going to find the difference. 0.4 minus 0.2 is 0.2. So that's positive 0.2. And let's see, let me erase here just a little bit so I make sure I get this. Oops, erase. There we go. So negative 2.85 plus a negative 7.1 means that we're going to line up the decimal points and add them up. Filling in that 0. You get 9.95. And then 8 minus 12.3 is going to be the same as 8 plus a negative 12.3, which means we have to subtract one positive, one negative. The answer will be negative. We didn't do this one in class. Whoops, 3. So we have to borrow from that ones, and then 0 minus, I guess we didn't need these zeros right here. So 10 minus 3 is 7, and 7 minus 2 is 5. And I'm doing this backwards, which is great. If you're watching this, you're watching me redo this. And it's a common error to maybe do it that direction. When we're trying to find the difference, we're going to use the bigger number. So I hope if you're watching this, you can learn from this error that I just made and do it this way. We're going to find the difference between 8 and 12.3 by subtracting 8 from 12.3. And again, I don't need that 0 there. I don't know why I keep doing that. 3 minus 0 is 3. 12 minus 8 is 4. So it is negative 4.3. Okay, we'll do the word problems tomorrow that are on this problem, number 6 and number 13. Then we talked about in class that the quiz today is the same as the CAMI. So we'll work on these tomorrow, and I'll post it in tomorrow's recap, but we'll do some of those and we'll finish that up by Thursday. And what I'd like to do now is go to the Desmos from last week. Let me erase these real quick. And oops, should have had this set up ahead of time. But I said that I would put the answer key to the Desmos from last week, so you could correct it, or you could know how to do it. So this first one says to match up the numbers to their closest, like if we were rounding them to either 0, -1/2, or +1. So this, I'm going to do the negative halves. So -1/2 goes in here, -3/5 goes in here, negative, none of the rest of them are close to -1/2. If we were wondering about -2/7, we could do this. We could have -1 or -7/7, and this would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this would be 0 and -1/7, -2/7, -3/7, -4/7, and so on. And let me change color here. This would be halfway. -3.5 would be halfway. This would be -1/2. So -3.57. So then we have to think, is 2 closer to 0, or is it closer to -3.5? And it's actually closer to -3.5. So we're going to include that in our -1/2. And let me get rid of this. So it was kind of a technical answer, but when you're rounding, you don't really need to be that technical. This would go to 0, -4/28, let's see, 2/11, and these two would go, let's go green, that'd be close to 1, or close to -1, close to -1, which just leaves us with -5/14. So we'd have to decide, is that closest to -1/2 or closer to 0? And we could do that same thing. 0 and -1, and half of 14 is 7, -7/14. And so if we split this into, if this is 14ths, 7 of them would be here, 7 of them would be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I need one more. So this -5/14 would definitely be closer to -1/2. So we will go with that, -1/2. And we have to write here 0, 0.5, or 1. So we'll say that's 0.5. Whoops, there we go. 0.5, 0.5, 1, 1, and let's see, half of 23 is 11, so we'll go with 0 on this one. And again, thinking of this one, if I'm thinking of a number line and it's split into 23 parts, half of that 23 is 11.5, and 5 is not quite, it's closer to 0 than it is there. It's kind of close. So those ones, when you're estimating, you can go either direction on those ones, but we'll put it in with 0. I really like to lighten up a little bit on estimating, and there could be more than one correct answer. It's not exactly the same as rounding. Okay, so these are 0 these are tenth. So this is 0.1. And so it just wants you to show the difference between 0.14 and 0.14 repeating. And so 0.14, this would be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then 0.2. So I'll put 0.11, 0.12, 0.13, 0.14 right there. And 0.144, I'll put another color, would be just to the right of it. We'll talk later this year more about repeating decimals. And actually, yeah, so 0.14 repeating means 0.1444. So it's a little bit bigger than 0.14 because those would just be zeros. And on this one, we'll go with blue. Negative 2.15 would be, sorry, it's so small, be right about there. And we'll make the orange one not quite as far from 0. And 0.15 would be right there. And if I do 3 divided by 20, and we'll get into this later this year, it goes in 0 times, and it goes in there once, 10 left over, or the 1 left over, and we bring down a 0, still doesn't go in, bring down another one, and it's 5, so it's going to be 0.105, and that would be smaller. And I've made an error on that, I can tell. That part is not correct. I know that because 20 times 5 is 100, and 3 times 5 is 15. So I know it's supposed to be 0.15, so they're going to be in the same place. And let's see what our mistake was here. It was to put the decimal point there first. So let's redo that. Second mistake that you got to see me make on here. All right. So 3 divided by 20. We're going to just put that up there and just forget about it. All right, it goes in there 0 times. And there was 10 left over. Bring down a 0, and that's 5. So they're in the same place, 0.15. So actually, let me do that. There we go. Okay, let's match all these up. We did this one in class. 12 goes with that one. 7 and 5 is 12. That's actually more like 7 and 6, which hopefully there's a 13. There it is right there. So let's organize these a little bit. Put this here. All right. This would be, we could go to 24 and 13. So 24 minus 13 should be 11. And hopefully the rest of these match up. It should. So 10 minus 3 is 7. And 11 minus 3. So just round that to 11, round that to 3. 11 minus 3 is 8. And then we played a Kahoot game to exit the class today. And that is a wrap up for Tuesday, October 27th.